With dry January in full swing for some of you, with others still hesitating about whether to start at all, we're speaking to a former alcoholic who's successfully given up drink and written books about it. Julian Kirkman-Page has just launched his second book called One Less for the Road. It's aimed at drinkers who feel they should give up, but also don't really want to. Julian, thank you very much for coming in. I gather we had you in just over a year ago, so welcome
Indeed.
back.
Thank you very much, Ben.
So, Dry January, just to give me a little background, first of all, what's the idea behind it and what it's all about?
Well, Dry January, I think it started because a lot of people overindulge at Christmas.
Far too much alcohol, and it's a great excuse, really, to give your body a break. And, of course, people trying to encourage people to give up alcohol altogether latched onto that. It's a great time of year. Not many people planning holidays, parties, that sort of thing. So it's a nice, easy month that if everybody's doing it, you've all got the same excuse. So you can go into the local pub and say, I'm doing Dry January, I'm only having water or a lime and soda, and people aren't going to look at you as some boring, strange idiot because you're no longer a drinker. So it's, for that reason, it's quite a good time of year to do it.
And I imagine for the benefits for sort of most people, it would be a case of, OK, it's easy on the wallet for a month. As you say, there's less parties, less reasons necessary to have to go and indulge, and it's a chance to kick back. But once you get to the end of January, and a lot of people are going back out and enjoying themselves, socialising, having a few drinks, those people who perhaps are looking to give up longer term, I guess it becomes a little bit harder not having that same level of support behind them. What's around that can continue that help?
There are a number of associations, a number of groups and things like that. Is the first book I wrote, which is called How to Quit Alcohol, which is a guide that takes people through the methodology that I used to quit, and there's all sorts of tips and techniques and things in there. And since that was launched last year, a lot of people are using that very, very successfully. There's also great groups and associations. There's one called Club Soda, and they are a group of mostly sort of young to middle-aged people who have found various pubs around the UK that have a good range of non-alcoholic drinks. And they get together socially and meet with people who also drink, so that you're not feeling a bit awkward, you're not feeling like the boring little person who doesn't want to drink on the corner. And they go out and they have evenings together and great fun and great time. So lots of groups like that that are more, young, fun, helpful, that are out there to help people. And
with the books, the first one was How to Quit Alcohol, full stop. This second one, your new one less for the road. What's the idea there? It's more for people who perhaps don't want to give up completely.
Exactly. I mean, it's all very well the How to Quit Alcohol book, but if you don't want to give up alcohol, you're never going to pick that book up, ever. A lot of people, I was one as well, I didn't want to give up alcohol. I got to the stage where I had to give up alcohol. I couldn't imagine what life was going to be like without drinking. What's going to happen on a Sunday lunch without red wine? What's it going to be like? A wedding, a party, all these sort of things without booze. I just couldn't contemplate it. So it was the last thing I wanted to do. And I got to the stage where I really had to. I'd lost my mother, I'd lost my brother to drink. I was extremely ill. I felt like a very old man. And I got to the stage where I knew I wouldn't be living very much longer unless I quit alcohol. So I did. But what I wanted to do is turn all those experiences, all those things I found out since, into a book to help people to really understand what it is like without alcohol. This fantastic new world opens up that you can't imagine when you're still a drinker. You can think of the obvious things, I'm going to save some money, I'm going to be a little bit healthier, my liver might recover. But it's all the other things that you can't contemplate, which I wanted to tease out in this book, and so people really understand and think, wow, I'm going to do this thing, I'm going to give up drink too, and for the benefit of me and my family and those around me and everyone else. And that's what that book's aimed at.
And how long have you been off alcohol now for?
I gave up just over 3 years ago, so I'm in year 4 now. And it's interesting that you introduced me as an ex-alcoholic, because some institutions say you're an alcoholic forever. Once you've been one, you're always an alcoholic. You carry that sort of badge and burden around with you. But I don't believe that, and I certainly don't feel like an alcoholic. I simply don't drink. I would never drink again, like I'd never smoke again. I gave up 20 years ago, and I don't carry the ex-smoker band around with me either. So it's things are changing. People are alcohol is something you can talk about more, and alcoholism isn't a thing to shy away from, and nor should it be either. But once you've got it out of your system, no, you're not an alcoholic, and I'm not. So 3 years.
And over the course of those 3 years, I can only imagine there were some pretty dark, tough times where you sort of must have been maybe close to having a drink, just that, okay, I'll just have one, give it a go. Was anything like that at all?
Absolutely not. And that's what's so fantastic. And that's what people don't understand. People imagine you're going to be going, you're going to be shaking and looking at the fridge and thinking, is there still half a bottle of wine? I mean, my house is full of drink because we have people around who drink. I'm not interested. And none of the people that I talk to are interested. Once you give it up, you don't want it anymore. It isn't the sort of addiction that people think it is. It's a mindset that's addictive, and it becomes a habit. You're so used to having that drink that once you've got rid of that habit and you break that habit, you just don't want one anymore. As I say, it's a bit like the smoking analogy. Most people, once you've given up smoking, if you ask someone 3 years later, would you like a packet of 20 cigarettes, they'd look at you, gone out. It's the last thing they particularly want. And it's exactly the same with drink. But you can't believe that until you've tried it. And that's what this book is, to sort of try and get that and prove that to you, that you really don't need it. It's uncanny.
Well, Julian, it's an inspirational story that you tell, and I really hope that these books find a way of getting your story through to even just a few people who can help them get back on the path that you're on.
Well, I hope so, and thanks very much for having me on.
No worries. Take care.